Hi everyone, I'm Gigi. I'm a Coptic homeschooling mom of 4 kids, and I'm on a mission to provide some resources and information to new homeschooling families that are just curious about homeschooling or want to start homeschooling and kind of don't know where to start because it seems all too familiar to me. I was just there. As a matter of fact, I think I'm still there. I love reading and learning about homeschooling. So finding resources and information and having another mom share her experience always is very helpful to me. So I'm hoping that you guys will find it helpful as well. So in today's video, I just want to answer the question, okay, I've decided I want to homeschool. Now what? What do I do? How do I actually execute? What's my next step to make this kind of actually happen? So first step is pray. Pray a lot about this decision. It's really important, and I know all of us have it in the back of our mind. It's something that needs to be covered in prayer, but really just stop, stand before God, and just pour your heart out. Tell him all your concerns about this new way of educating your children and parenting and all around family dynamics. Tell him, these are my fears, here are my worries, and this is what I'm kind of looking forward to. Have you put this desire in my heart? Lord, can you please give me comfort and peace? And really just find him in this whole process, because it's really important that you're guided by him, whether you're making the decision to homeschool or you're picking curriculum or you're losing your patience during the school day. So cover your decision and your whole journey in prayer. My next step for you, step number 2, is check the laws and regulations in your district. Take a look at a website called hslda.com in the States, .ca in Canada, and HSLDA stands for Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and they are fabulous. They do have worldwide information about the required standards to be met, or anything that you need to know about your state if you're in the States, or your province if you're in Canada, and what kind of guidelines you need to follow, or what standards you need to meet to homeschool in your district. So get informed and make connections. What I mean by make connections is get on Facebook, and if you are on Facebook, and join a few Facebook groups that are homeschool related. There's one called COPTIC Homeschoolers. There's one called Orthodox Homeschoolers. There's one called Homeschooling Preschoolers. There's different curriculum groups. There's so many homeschooling groups on Facebook, and it's a good place to at least just be present there and see what people are asking, and see what kind of challenges they're facing and what kind of highlights they're experiencing, so that at least you have an idea of what other people are experiencing in this journey. Step number 3 is develop an educational philosophy or vision. And this was something that I learned through my years of homeschooling, is that it's very important to have a vision, to know where you're going when you're homeschooling. So what I call an educational philosophy is what is your perspective? What do you want to reap from homeschooling? Why is it that you've chosen to homeschool? What is the lens that you're looking through? So for my family, I want us to be Christ-centered. I want us to have Christ as our priority in everything that we learn, everything that I teach. So when I'm teaching science, I want that to be from a Christian perspective. When I'm teaching world issues, when I'm teaching about discrimination, I want to have the loving heart of Christ cover the entire curriculum that I'm building. And that's really important to set the cornerstone or the foundation of your homeschool, to give you kind of just a place to kind of keep your eyes on there, on that horizon, where this is, I have to make sure that when I'm picking curriculum, it matches this, that when I'm going out on field trips, that when I'm creating my year, this is kind of my vision. Step number 4 is set a goal for yourself and for each one of your children for this coming school year in particular. So if you're starting fresh, this is your first year of homeschooling, and you're thinking of starting this September, for example, make a goal for yourself. What do you want this year to do for you? Do you want to be and this doesn't have to necessarily be specifically academic related. Do you want to be a more patient mom? Do you want to be an enthusiastic teacher? Do you want to kind of convey a love of learning? Do you want to be more laid back if you feel like you're very rigid and anxious? What is your goal? Do you want to be more Christ-centered yourself? Do you want to be more involved in service? Making a goal for yourself is actually really, really helpful in the school year, because it takes also the weight off of teaching, and it also gives you a chance to say, I also am a learner here. It's okay if I'm not getting everything perfect. My goal was to get there. I'm almost there, kind of thing. If you have, for example, 2 kids, take a minute in your mind and think of each child specifically and what it is that you want that child to achieve this year. If you have a kindergartner, for example, that you are hoping to be reading by the end of the year, maybe that could be a good goal. If you have a child that's that has a really hard time with attention, the habit of attention, and maybe you can work on that habit this year. Maybe you want to work on family dynamics, and that's such a cool thing to actually focus your homeschooling year on. Just learning as a family how to support each other and encourage each other and have a heart of love and motivation for each other. Step number 5 is research and choose an educational approach. Now, this is a big one, and I hope to create a video soon that talks about the different curriculum options, or a few of the different curriculum options, because there's tons of where you could start looking. But what I mean by an educational approach is, what are you going to structure your year around? And I know this is going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but it actually isn't a good idea to build your entire year around academics. Academics will actually fall into a time slot that you will give to it, but don't build your year around your academics. That isn't a good foundation. You want to, for example, I can share how we structure our year. I basically just print out the Coptic calendar, so that's our church calendar, our monthly feasts that we're going to celebrate in the Coptic year. So that includes like the Epiphany and Christmas and Easter and all the dates that go with those. And I structure the skeleton of our year around the Coptic calendar. So if there's certain midweek liturgies that come with certain saints that are important to our family, we'll take those mornings off, or we'll take certain weeks off, like Passion Week or whatever. So we kind of work around that Coptic calendar. In terms of curriculum, are you more comfortable with very structured curriculum that just comes to you in a box with every subject covered in there? Or do you want to be more hands-on and have like manipulatives and games for your kids to play, but it requires your attention and your presence? Do you want to create your own curriculum and maybe make a Coptic curriculum where you have almost like maybe daily or a couple of times a week Sunday school lessons for the kids, like similar to Sunday school lessons, where you choose a theme and you teach your children about things that are important to you, like church history or saints or whatever is important to you? Do you want to have lots of field trips? And if so, maybe structure your year around that. Do you want to include a lot of services? Regardless of your children's age, you can have them participate in services, food banks. How often do you want to do that? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Do you want to have travel slots as a family? If you're doing, for example, a unit about Egypt, why don't you consider going to Egypt for a couple of weeks during that unit? How rich would that educational experience be? Do you want to do nature schooling? Do you want your days to be very flexible, where you're a lot more chill and you have, for example, an hour or 2 time slot for school? Or do you want to have your day very scheduled? It totally depends on your personality. So basically, you just need to research what the options are, and the options are really limitless. So step number 6 is plan some weeks off to reset and reassess. And this was something that I learned the hard way, and it could totally just be me, but I found that it was so helpful this year. I did this new this year and it worked great, where as I was mapping out my year, I chose certain weeks where I take that week off. So the kids are off. It's just kind of a fun week where there's no program per se. We can go on fun outings. We can go to the trampoline park, to the zoo. We can do whatever we want. We can stay home if we want. But it gave me a chance to kind of zone out and have days where I sleep in, where I'm not rushing through the day, and also to reassess the curriculum that we've been doing. Has it been working? Can I tweak the schedule of the day? Is it too much pressure on me or on the kids? Is somebody's curriculum not working for them? Do I need a lower level, a higher level, etc.? And that's the time where you can map out your year. Now, step number 7 is buy your curriculum. Okay, so if you've chosen to go with Becca, for example, or Sunlight, or My Father's World, you can go through those curriculums, make your decisions, and purchase them, or download what you need to download, or print it, or arrange it in binders, gather your material, organize your homeschool space, actually make it exciting and livable, and like you can visualize how your year is going to go next year. Put everything together, and you can be as organized as you feel like you need to be. Again, I'm a very I'd really rather everything be organized and cut out and ready for me, so that on the day that we're doing that particular lesson, I just open the bin that I had prepared ahead of time, and the craft is there pre-cut and stapled together, and I just give one to each of my children. I love that. If I'm able to prepare things like that ahead of time, it's like a mom win. So that's how I function. Whereas when I share this information with other homeschooling families, they're like, oh my goodness, that would drive me crazy. Like, what if I prepared something so well ahead of time and the day just didn't accommodate for it? Then I'd feel so disappointed. So it really depends on your personality. If you kind of relate more to that kind of personality, maybe you need to be a little bit more lax and not have things as prepared as I like to have them. Whereas if you relate more with my opening something and everything is already there, I used to do that at the end of each month, prepare the next month's bin. So I open it and I'm like, oh, today we're doing this craft. Here you guys go, and it's ready. Step number 8 is get excited and get the kids excited. Be enthusiastic about this, you guys. I know it's scary and it's probably making you worry a little bit, but it's so exciting. So get excited about it, celebrate it, have an end of the summer party or a beginning of the school year party, or plan out something cool. Get the kids involved, get them to plan it with you. Tell them all the cool things you're gonna be able to do now that you're homeschooling and things like that. So get excited, get into the mood, and last tip or last step to starting your homeschool year is the same as the very first one. Pray and pray and pray some more. Fill your planning and fill your organizing, fill all of it with prayer. Just keep constantly referring back to God and just being like, God, I'm doing this with you in mind. I want my children to be disciples of yours. Please guide me. Tell me which curriculum is best. Tell me what organizational systems are best to keep me sane and to keep the kids kind of excited and engaged. Help me out, help me out. And he really does. He does not kind of leave you there. The good work that he is starting, he will absolutely finish. So I want to send you some encouragement. Please feel free to message me or comment below with any questions. If you want something specific that you want me to make a video about, by all means, comment below, and I'd love to try to put that together for you to just help you kind of get started on this awesome journey. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.